Welcome back to more talking about Engage's cost. So, last time we did talk about Leia and their retainers, and yeah, again, like I said, very nice units. So, let's move on to the next group of characters that we recruit. That'll be Alfred and his retainers. And yeah, of course, Alfred, he is the Prince of Firene. And yeah, we're going to be talking about Firene characters for a little bit. So yeah, like I said at the end of the last part, yeah, this is a unit that I have some opinions about, let's just say. He's a very strange unit, and one that does take a little bit of looking into to find out what he's good at, basically. So, here's the deal with him. His base stats are actually not too bad, except for his speed, mainly. I feel like, yeah, his speed is one of the things you really need to work around, I guess. Because, yeah, the thing about it is that, yeah, it's quite low. He only has 6 base speed, so he can't really double things reliably, especially because, yeah, I'm pretty sure he does also get weighed down by a lot of lances too, with his base 6 build as well. So, yeah, he is unlikely to double much, or even at all. So, yeah, you need 5 speed to double. In Farm Engage, do you believe? So, yeah, like I said, yeah, that's not what he's gonna do. So instead, you really need enemies either weakened or he one-shots them. The one-shotting part isn't too terrible because of two things that you'll get shortly after he joins. There's of course the Sigurd ring. Sigurd of course is great with a cavalier like him. Yeah, he counts as one with his unique noble class. And then yeah, that Sigurd gets momentum, and momentum adds damage based on how much spaces you move. It's 1 damage per space, and yeah, that can definitely help close the gap to get a one-shot. And yeah, you also get free Steel Lance. Everyone gets a free Steel Lance thanks to an update, and then if you have the DLC, there's also a free Silver Lance, which he can use. He does have the rank for it, so those can definitely help him get the one-shots, and yeah, that can definitely make up for the fact that he is on the slow side. But yeah, let's ignore his speed for a little bit now. Let's talk about what he's actually good at, and that is mainly strength and defense. Yeah, let's go over his growth rates now that we've mentioned that. So yeah, as a noble, he has 80 HP, 55 strength, 5 magic, 40 dex, 45 speed, 60 defense, 25 res, 55 luck, and 10 build. So yeah, it's pretty obvious what he wants to do, of course. He wants to be a mobile tank. He wants to get in there, tank enemies, and dish out pretty good damage. Of course, killing the enemies, yeah, again, could be a little difficult, because again, his speed, I really wish it was slightly better, because with a 45 growth, he's gonna not level up that quick, so that means that, yeah, I wouldn't say he's in danger of getting doubled, really, because yeah, even if he is getting doubled, I feel like it's by enemies that don't threaten him that badly. Like let's say a sword fighter doubles him. That's not going to do damage to him that much, or even at all. So yeah, it doesn't really matter that he gets doubled by those. And most other enemies aren't fast enough to double him anyway. So yeah, again, the low speed actually isn't that bad, to be honest. Surprisingly enough, when you think about it. And yeah, like I said, the tankiness though is very nice. Yeah, like I said, he can tank enemies quite well, especially on the defense side, obviously. His res isn't as good, but yeah, he can obviously try to quit 1-2 range. As long as he's not getting doubled, I think he'll be fine against a lot of mages too, so yeah. Yeah, that's what I really like about this dude. He's mobile, thanks to being a cav, but also, he's very tanky. So yeah, he can definitely just get in there and do a lot of good damage. And yeah, Sigurd really synergizes well with that kind of playstyle too. The extra movement and the canto can really make him quite an annoying enemy to actually fight off for your enemies. So yeah, like I said, he's definitely pretty interesting there. Things get a little bit better when he promotes, but yeah, let's talk about some other things about him too, like his personal skill. And also, yeah, when he promotes, his class does get a unique skill, because yeah, it's a unique class. I meant to talk about that last time, but yeah, I guess he can make up for it here. So first off, his personal skill is Self-Improver, one that does have good synergy with him, to be honest. If he waits without attacking using items, he gets +2 strength, so he does like to attack on the player phase, because he does he can do a lot of damage because yeah, he doesn't take that much damage in return, and then yeah, he can maybe go for a one shot. But that skill isn't bad either, his personal, because yeah, of course he is tanky. So he is good on the enemy phase. Yeah, you can afford to wait and get a little bit of extra damage if you really need it. So yeah, let's talk about his promoted class, Etie, I believe. I said it in kind of a cool way, but yeah, it's a pretty decent class to be honest. It gets swords, I think it's B swords and 8 lances, so yeah, it's the only... Paladins can't use multiple weapons, so... And of course, yeah, he has better strength of defense than a paladin, so yeah. I'd say it's an improvement over that class, so yeah, there's no real point to make him a paladin, or Alfred a paladin, so yeah. So it gets a skill at level 5, every promoted class does. I'm only going to be talking about the ones that are exclusive to character exclusive classes. I might be mentioning some of the others ones that are like notable to a character and how they work. I did already kind of do that with Chaos Star in the last part, but yeah. Let's go over actually at Liz first, because again I forgot to talk about it. That one is Divine Spirit, where units engage me in a short one step. That means that you need one less round of combat to fill up the engagement, and yeah, that's definitely useful because again, there's a dragon unit, so they want to engage and get those engage bonuses. So yeah. What about Alfred's Etie class? So he gets Golden Lotus. This should be a very familiar skill. During combat, he may prevent 50% of physical damage taken, which triggers on his Dex Descent. And yeah, that's basically just Purvise from Awakening, I believe. And it triggers on his Dex. His Dex actually isn't that amazing. It's a 40% growth no matter what. And yeah, I guess while we're here, we can also talk about his growth. But yeah, he does have a decent turn-based Dex, but here's the thing about him. He's so tanky on the physical side, and it only works on physical damage. It basically means it's kind of overkill, to be honest. If I protect it against like res, like Aegis does, then yeah, I could definitely see the point. But yeah, considering how his stat line is, again, it feels kind of like an overkill skill that he doesn't really need too much. So, yeah, again, let's talk about those growth rates at Firene. Like I said, there's a slight improvement over his base class. So he gets 80 HP, 55 strength, 5 magic, 40 dex, 50 speed, 65 defense, 25 res, 60 luck, and 10 build. It's basically just 5% boost to speed, defense, and luck, which is definitely not bad. You definitely make good use of that. So yeah, I guess we can talk about like synergies. Obviously, Sigurd's a great choice. Sigurd can help him get the one-shots, and of course extra movement, and Kento is always nice. And then you can always learn Kento too, because again, it's a great skill. Of course, if you really want him to be just this unstoppable killing machine, I highly recommend Lyn on him. To be honest, yeah, Lyn's like really good on any mounted unit. Like, I prefer on Wyverns, to be honest, but Alfred does seem like the kind of unit that benefit greatly from her. Because yeah, Lyn's all about boosting speed, and yeah, once he gets a lot of speed, there isn't really much wrong with his stats. Then he has a good amount of strength, a good amount of defense, then he'll have a good amount of speed too. So yeah, he's gonna be like a pretty overpowered unit if you do that. When I used him, I gave him Lucina, which is interesting because Lucina has some backstory with him. Like, they discuss the fact that Lucina actually used to be at Firene. But then, yeah. But of course, the main one there is going to be Celica. It is kind of weird that he doesn't have good synergy with the emblem of his country, but oh well. Instead, it's the princess, who isn't the next in heir, but oh well. Alfred woman, I guess. But yeah, I did use Lucina on him. Lucina is not bad, to be honest, as well. One thing I've heard argued for Alfred's favor is that he has... His good bulk means that he makes a good bondage shield user, especially if you want to use the cav bondage shield. Again, I don't like it as much as the flying one. The idea with the cav one is like you use like a bunch of mage knights and stuff with it. And maybe some wolf knights too, because yeah, again, they're pretty strong classes. So it makes sense why it's considered good synergy. And yeah, like I said, Alfred's definitely not bad. He can equip javelins, obviously, to dissuade enemies from attacking him and go for the bunch person. And again, he has good bolts, so if an archer's not going to go for him. Mages might, but of course you could try stacking his res or avoid. And yeah, you can definitely, avoid is definitely something to go for because of one of Lucina's skills. I think it's dual support plus, which, yeah, that increases evasion based on support partners. So yeah, if he's bondage shielding people he supports, then yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah. So that's another thing, but yeah, I mainly use this scene for the speed boost, but yeah, because she does get a little bit of speed. But yeah, he was pretty good with the bondage shield, when I did use him, obviously, so yeah. That was I had fun using him though. But yeah, like I said, again, he didn't get the best first impression. He just felt like this unit who didn't grow well, and also couldn't kill things because, of course, his speed is kind of fluent. So he became the butt of many jokes between me and my brother when we first laid eyes on him. So yeah. But then yeah, over time I learnt about what actually makes him tick, and then yeah, he definitely seems like a lot more interesting unit now. So yeah, that's really all I gotta say about him. But yeah, let's talk about his character. He's kind of a main character actually. He gets a lot more screen time than your average person because him being the main royal of his country. He is the prince after all. But anyway, so yeah, Alfred kind of gives this like goofy hero vibe, I guess. Yeah, I feel like it has something to do with his voice, but yeah, I really like his voice though. It fits him perfectly, to be honest. But yeah, that's like the vibe I got because yeah, he does get up to some. He does get some comedic moments in the plot, like when him and Alir introduce Yunaka, then what happens with Alcrest 2. He does have some good serious moments. Firene gets attacked again, like around the midpoint of the game, and yeah, you can get to see his serious side, and yeah, that was actually a really good moment, to be honest. And yeah, of course, he's extremely loyal to the Divine Dragon as well, as a friend, obviously. Because yeah, he just wants to be a really good friend, and that ties into other aspects of his character. And this is where we can get into the support section. So yeah, again, the supports actually kind of have a similar vibe. Again, there are some very goofy ones where he gets up to some strange things, like the Boucheron support where he wants to touch up Boucheron's muscles, because why not? And there's another support with a late game unit where he tries some spicy food that has a hilarious reaction to it. Yeah, he does get up to some goofy things. And then I remember the Amber support too. He wants to go get the strength potion to make him strong. But yeah, that actually is a nice segue to, well, the thing about his character. So yeah, the thing about him is that when he was young, he was very ill. And he had this, like, chronic disease, basically. And yeah, and to try and, like, make him feel better about himself, he took up strength training, basically, like training his muscles and stuff. And then yeah, things get a bit interesting when he gets support with his sister, which is probably his best support, to be honest. The first two, the C and B supports are pretty simple. He's just, you know, doing his own goofy things, and then his sister's calling him out for it. But then the A support things get very serious. He starts having a problem with said disease. And then yeah, of course, Celine gets very worried about him. But then he says that yeah, he doesn't want anyone to see him like that with the disease, acting out like that, because he wants to be seen as the strong person to be relied on. And yeah, to be honest, yeah, that made him a bit more endearing in my eyes. As a character, yeah, he just wants to be like this person that can be seen as like a beacon of hope and stuff. And he's trying so hard despite the fact that he has this disease that's really slowing him down. So yeah, like I said, to be honest, yeah, he's actually a pretty decent character, to be honest. Yeah, again, it's very fun to make fun of, well, one, his unit performance sometimes, and then two, how and goofy it could be in some supports. But yeah, like I said, when he gets serious though, he's actually really solid, to be honest. I kinda wish we got to see more of him in the plot, but the times we do get to see him though, he does a very, very good job, to be honest. So yeah. Yeah, I can't really hate this dude anymore, to be honest. Maybe I'll give him a go again. Maybe I'll use that OP Lin, well, not really OP, I mean, Lin's OP is the thing. But yeah, that Lin build I was thinking about too, that could be a fun one. And yeah, I guess while we're here too, I'll also talk about some other classing array class him too. If you're really worried about his speed and don't want to use Lin to fix him up, you could try Wolf Knight. That's one thing I've heard people do with him. It's still a mounted class, so it still has that similar vibe, and yeah, it gives him a 20% boost to his speed, because that's its class growth. So yeah, then he becomes a bit more well-rounded, because yeah, his strength and defense is already pretty good. It's just that his base class is helping out a little bit, but yeah, as a Wolf Knight, he'll be a bit more balanced, of course. He'll have some nice 1-2 range and daggers, so yeah. And you can also keep the Lance if you want. He does have the Lance proficiency, so get a rank at that class. That's nice. So yeah, that's Alfred. I don't really know what other classes you could go into. He isn't really suited for magic, so don't do that. And yeah, I feel like his already tanky Persa class means that General and Great Knight aren't really needed. His class is like a better Great Knight, to be honest. It's a lot more well-rounded. And yeah, again, it's also kind of better than Paladin. But yeah, you could also try some other fast classes too. Wolf Knight, of course. You can even try like Warrior if you really want to. Warrior's a good class, yeah. But yeah, if I'm using him, yeah, I'm mainly using him in his base class or using like some of the mounted class. You could also do Wyvern, but yeah, maybe I'll be a little bit too slow for that, but again, you can fix that up. But yeah, Wyvern does have good synergy with his stats, so that's why I mentioned it, so yeah. So that's Alfred. And yeah, like I said, to be honest, yeah, when you look into him, I feel like he becomes a lot better. And yeah, I'm happy about that too, because yeah, he did seem like a very likable dude, so I'm happy that, yeah, looking into him more, I've grown to like him a bit more too, not just as a unit, but also as his character too, so yeah, that's nice. I guess another thing I should have mentioned too, it can't release the DLC, but yeah, you can also give him Hector, of course. If he really isn't getting speed, then yeah, you can use Q on him, and then yeah, that basically sorts out everything, and yeah, I think Hector's also pretty good with Cavs too, so yeah. And yeah, he also has a lot of defense too, which helps Hector's Impetual skill. Yeah, Hector's basically there if you want to use a slow unit that has a lot of defense. That's where he shines a lot. But yeah, he is of course DLC, so not everyone has him, so yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, I actually talked a lot about Alfred. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest, but yeah. Now we've done that, let's move on to the next character. We're going to be talking about his retainers now. Let's now move on to Etie, the archer. So, Etie joins alongside Alfred as one of his retainers. So, Etie, of course, is an archer. She uses bows, and bows are good against flyers, obviously. So, yeah, Etie's kind of a strange unit, to be honest. I think it's mainly seen in, like, her growth rates, but yeah, I guess you can look at her base stats first. Solid, I guess. Of course, her main thing is that she has tons of strength. She has a good base strength. Her speed does need a little bit of work, but her class can help with that a little bit. Although, yeah, again, it's kind of like a similar deal to Alfred, although I guess it's not as bad for her, because I don't think she gets weighed down as badly by her weapons. But yeah, she's mainly going for, again, one-shots, so because she has lots of strength, of course she has enough strength to definitely put down any flyer with a bow, see, that's nice. But again, yeah, you kind of want to get a little bit lucky with her. She does have kind of middling speed growth, so yeah, she might have a little bit of trouble consistently one-running because of that, and yeah, she kind of needs to because, yeah, she is an archer. So, all she can really do is on the player phase, unless you of course reclass, which you can get to later, but yeah. I guess now we can go over growth rates. So yeah, first off though, yeah, I believe her strength is like some of the best in the game actually. I'm just gonna double check that. Yeah, she has 40% base strength, and yeah, that's some of the highest in the game. So yeah, strength is definitely something she's really good at. So yeah, let's go over her growth rates as an archer, and yeah, like I said, strength of course is going to be a running theme we're going to be talking about. So anyway, let's actually go over growth rates down. 55 HP, 55 strength, 0 magic, 50 dex, 45 speed, 30 defense, 30 res, 30 luck, and 5 build. So yeah, again, lots of strength. Um, 55 is really good, and yeah, other than that though, her growth rate's actually kind of low, to be honest. Um, Apparently, according to what I've heard, her growth total is some of the lowest in the game as well, which is interesting, but yeah, she could definitely work around it though. But anyway, so yeah, even if she doesn't gain seed though, she does have a good early game niche. Obviously, she can chip enemies for you, so that's always nice. And of course, one-shot the flyers too. That's mainly what she's going to be doing in the early maps if you're not using a long term. If you are using a long term though, we do need to think about some emblems for her, and I guess also a class too. But yeah, before we talk about those two things, let's talk about personal skill, which I don't really remember very well. That will be energized. So energized, when she recovers HP using an item, she gets +2 strength. So that's cool, I guess, but with her base class, it's kind of weird, to be honest, because again, she's not really made for enemy phase, and unless you dance her, you're not gonna really be able to use the strength boost. But hey, I guess it's better than nothing, right? So anyway, before we talk about emblems, let's talk about classes. So archers convert into either sniper or bow knight. So sniper gives us 60 HP, 55 strength, 0 magic, 55 dex, 45 speed, 35 defense, 30 res, 35 luck, and 5 build. It doesn't really improve any of her important growths, unfortunately. But yeah, the main advantage of sniper is that she gets S rank of bows. I think any sniper does, but yeah. And of course she's a covert. So you can make use of covert stuff with her. She can definitely use Lyn well as a sniper because yeah, coverts get a very big boost to Astra Storm. The range increases by a stupid amount. I think it's like, it becomes like 15 range or something crazy like that. And of course, you can equip bows with Astra Storm too, so you can do better damage with it. Like a forged silver bow is going to be a lot better than the Mulligan even. And yeah, again, it'll make her fast, which is good because she has good synergy with speed, obviously, because she has tons of strength. So yeah. Yep, Lyn definitely seems like a good use of her no matter what, but yeah, especially if you do go the sniper route. There's also Bow Knight, which tries to fix up her speed. It has 55 HP, 50 strength, 0 magic, 45 dex, 55 speed, 30 defense, 45 res, 10 luck, and 5 build. You trade a little bit of strength for some speed, and I can definitely see that being good. She'll become a cav type unit if you do this, so yeah. The engage bonuses are going to change a little bit, so you might want to be a bit mindful of that. I don't know what you want as a cav, to be honest, or Bow Knight, I mean. It is a very player-faced class, so I can definitely see something like maybe Erica being good, or the Three Houses emblem. Like, yeah, they can add lots of damage and are pretty good player-face options for her, so yeah. I did see my brother using Etie as a Bow Knight with the Three Houses bracelet. That was actually worked out pretty good for her, to be honest. So yeah, and again, Lyn's still good, even if you don't get the covert bonus from the Astra Storm's still gonna benefit a lot from having a good bow equipped. So yeah, Bow Knight definitely is a weird choice though, because you can't get an extra rank of the other weapon type. Sword, lance, or axe. I believe she'll be locked to C rank if you do it. But yeah, again, if you really wanted to be a mounted unit, then yeah, you could probably do it. But yeah, there is one class though that really comes to mind though, that really makes use of her strengths, and that is Bow Knight. Well, not Bow Knight, we just talked about Warrior. So Warrior has a really good strength and speed growth. She gets B rank in bows in the class thanks to her bow proficiency. It's basically just sniper that has better growth rates. And she becomes a backup unit, which is interesting because you can use bows with that, and yeah, backups of course, as long as they can reach the enemy, then yeah, they can still chain attacks. So yeah, she definitely can support that, but yeah, she becomes a killing machine as a warrior. After seeing what my brother was able to do that, it was nuts. She had so much strength. Enemies got like completely wrecked by her. She was actually decently fast too, as well, because again, Warrior actually boosts speed more than Sniper, which is kind of stupid, but yeah. Yeah, again, Warrior is just such a good class, especially if you are a little good with bows, because again, you get the extra bow rank. And yeah, once again, the emblems, are similar in that regard too. Again, Lynn's cool if you really want to make use of Ashes Storm with a bow. But yeah, outside that though, yeah, you can definitely do a lot of things with her. Like, yeah, I think in that playthrough when my brother made her a warrior, I think he used Roy with her, and yeah, that was a lot of damage right there. Like, easy one-shots on a lot of enemies, and yeah. Another cool thing about Warrior 2 is it's not just locked to bows, obviously. You get A-rank axes too, which is very nice. You can make very good use of those, because yeah, again, she has lots of strength. So yeah, she can even use like Brave axes too if you really want. So there's a lot of utility there as well. You even get like 1 2-range with hand axes too. So yeah, again, Warrior just seems to fit her so well with how her stats are. So yeah, I really like it as an option. It's probably better than her default options, which is a little bit unfortunate, but yeah, I did use her as a sniper before. I gave her Bile for some reason. Coverts give speed when they rally and dance, which I thought was cool, so yeah. But yeah, unfortunately those snipers aren't very good at using Corrin, because even though Corrin's covert, Dragon Vein's good, it's not good in Archer, because you want to really have a good enemy phase, and yeah, Archers don't, so yeah. I wouldn't recommend that one. But yeah, that's really what I gotta say about Etie as a unit. Like I said, very fun unit, once you put the work into it. In the other games, she can be good for chip if you really need her. Just be careful though about using her. Her bulk is terrible. She only has 3 defense and 2 roads, so yeah. You wanna make sure that she isn't getting easily targeted by enemies on the you wanna make sure that she's safe once she's shot an enemy on the player phase. So you wanna be careful of that when using the other game, but if you put in the work, yeah, like I said, she can be a very fun archer because of how strong she is. Sure, there are definitely some other really strong bonus in this game that probably will outclass her, but yeah, the warrior niche is definitely quite nice, so yeah. And yeah, it's something I could definitely recommend if you really want to make it good. Because yeah, I saw how good it was. It was so entertaining to see her put in the work as a warrior, so yeah, that's definitely something I can highly recommend with her, so yeah. Let's move on to her character now. Yeah, her character is very basic. She talks about muscles a lot, with the people she's close with. She's actually a good friend with Celine as well, even though she is Alfred's retainer. So those two chat a lot. I think they're, like, friends. And yeah, they talk about, like, of course, tea and, of course, her training regimen. Because yeah, one thing she does for training is that she uses a weighted teacup, which, yeah, that's a little bit strange. She's also very interested in Boucheron's muscles. And yeah, the funny part about it is that she suspects that Boucheron's doing something to enhance them when he isn't. So yeah, that leads to some moments, I guess. I think, yeah, though, the support that people really remember is the Goldberry one, where Goldberry steals a potato from her, and then she freaks out, and yeah. And then somehow, someway, they bond and become good friends by touching each other, so yeah, that, is a support. Yeah, other than that though, yeah. She is an entertaining character, to be honest. I like her voice too. Sure, she does talk about training like a lot. That's her thing, really. And there isn't really much else that really interests her. So yeah, again, it's all about building up muscle with her. And yeah, most other people she talks to, yeah, kind of just relates to, well, muscles. Yeah, again, she's a very basic character, and again, not being a main character means that, yeah, you're only really getting stuff out of for supports. And yeah, she doesn't really get anything, like, too deep as well. Like, no support goes into great depth about her as, like, a person stuff. It's mainly, yeah, just her hobby. You know, weight training, or strength training, I should be saying. So yeah, like I said, there isn't much to it, to her. But, like I said though, her strong, I say yeah, even if she's like, I don't know if I'd say she's an amazing unit or not, but yeah, she's definitely very decent. She's one of the more fun units in the game, especially if you decide to go the warrior route, with her. Again, Archer, yeah, it is kind of dumb that Sniper isn't faster than it probably is. I decided to make Bow Knight the quick archer choice. Because yeah, that probably would have helped. Yeah, Archer's main thing is, or Sniper should be saying, its main thing is Dex, obviously. Which, she does have a good base 11 Dex, but I don't know, she doesn't really have the best ways to get like lots of crits and stuff. Burst's got this really synergized with critical hits, so yeah. So yeah, again, though, Warrior though, yeah, Warrior definitely makes up for the fact that her normal promotion options aren't very good, so yeah. And yeah, like I said, even though she, her character's definitely on the basic end, again, there isn't really much that comes to mind that makes her, like, out as super serious. Maybe just, like, casual chats with people, maybe some nice chats about training and stuff, and then some weird supports too, but yeah. Other than that, though, yeah, like I said, I don't hate her, to be honest, though. Again, she is on the basic side, but I like her voice, I like her character design. Yeah, also, I did end up liking her more than I thought I would when I first saw her. I thought she'd be kind of strange, to be honest, when I first saw her, but yeah. Yeah, like I said, I am happy that, yeah, she turned out a bit more interesting than I was suspecting, and yeah, I did use her in first playthrough, and again, I thought she was cool. So yeah. I think that's enough about her now that I've talked about basically everything I can think of, so yeah. Let's move on to the last character for today. Our last character for today is going to be Boucheron, the axe fighter, and yeah, the other retainer to Alfred. So yeah, another thing about him too is that me and my brother affectionately like to call him Babushka. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, it's something that my brother said and it kind of stuck. But anyway, Boucheron, he's an axe fighter. Of course, that's something I definitely like. You know that I'm a fan of Berserkers, and yeah, Berserker is one of the classes that axe fighter can promote into, so yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, let's talk about what he can do in the early game. So in the early game, he's okay, I guess. His base stats aren't terrible. Again, nothing like too impressive, but his strength, speed, and of course build are not too bad, to be honest. Again, he's not like going to be a killing machine with that 7 base speed, but yeah, he does have a good growth in it, so yeah. He's expected to at least maybe double some enemies, but yeah, on the higher difficulties, he might have some problems. Like yeah, Matty Mode, yeah, he ain't killing stuff, but there is something he can do that doesn't need him to be strong. That's of course chain attacks. It does kind of also tie into his personal skills as well, actually, so yeah. So yeah, chain attacks again, he can use those, and fighter or axe fighter should be saying, isn't terrible at that because yeah, he can use hand axes with those as well as just regular axes, and yeah, he'll be able to do a good job with the chain attacks. And yeah, speaking of chain attacks, they kind of tie into his personal skill too. Move to Tears. When an ally joins a chain attack in this unit's combat, he deals +2 damage. So yeah, that obviously means that yeah, you want to synergize Boucheron with other backup units to make the most out of his personal. If you want to make use of personal, because yeah, +2 damage for free, as well as the extra time from the chain attack, definitely doesn't sound like a terrible personal skill in my mind. So yeah, you can definitely try making use of that if you really want. So yeah, that's definitely something cool about Boucheron. So yeah, now that we talk about that, we can talk more about like his class and maybe some emblem options too. So yeah, you can promote, yeah, let's go over his growth rates first before we think about his promotion. He has 110 HP, 40 strength, 0 magic, 55 dex, 55 speed, 40 defense, 20 res, 50 luck, and 25 build. So yeah, he has kind of a weird stat spread. He has a lot of HP, his build is some of the highest in the game actually. And he's actually kind of fast, but for some reason his strength is actually lagging behind a little bit. I assume that's because of Berserker. Which I think is his kind of promotion, but anyway. He does only have the axe rank, so yeah. Let's talk about that, I guess. So yeah, as a Berserker, he has 115 HP, 50 strength, 0 magic, 55 dex, 55 speed, 40 defense, 20 res, 15 luck, and 30 build. Yeah, Berserker sounds like it makes him quite good, to be honest. You get a good 50% strength. You get a very solid 55 dex and 55 speed. So yeah, why have I not used this dude? And yeah, why have I not used him as a Berserker, I guess you could say as well. I think it's just because, yeah, Berserker just isn't a good class in this game. It's outclassed by the next class, Warrior, because Warrior's just a lot more well-rounded. The stat caps on Berserker just aren't good enough. Like, 30 speed cap just isn't good enough for, like, a unit like him. Like, he's actually kind of fast, so yeah, he can definitely get more than that. The strength boost is nice, but the thing about it is that, yeah, it is only a 10% difference in growth, which that can make a difference, but it will take a while for it to make a difference, unless your RNG is weird. Or your RNG turns out to be weird as everything. But yeah, he has already a pretty decent 10% strength, and your Warrior's strength isn't that far away from Berserk either. I think it's only that 1-2 point difference, so yeah, even if you do make him a Warrior, he'll still be good. Speaking of that, let's talk about Warrior then. 110 HP, 40 strength, 0 magic, 60 dex, 60 speed, 45 defense, 25 res, 15 luck, and 25 builds. So yeah, he does get a nice speed boost from that, which you can appreciate. And yeah, strength is still, yeah, again, 40 strength doesn't sound that good, but he does have at least a good 10 base strength. And he'll get some decent amount from his perma game too, so yeah. Again, but yeah, Warrior, again, is such a great class. Yeah, these two, apparently, yeah, Alfred's returns really like the Warrior class, don't they? But yeah, they definitely have some good uses for him, of course. He gets a more balanced stat spread, he can use bows, not beard bows, he can only get sea bows. But I think killer bow isn't that bad, to be honest, so yeah. Especially if you can grave it, if you really want to. So you could do that if you want. And then, yeah, again, Warrior just has slightly better offensive growth rates, and yeah, the better speed, of course, is going to help him. And we'll make use of the fact that, yeah, his speed is actually good. And yeah, of course, his build too being good too means that, yeah, he'll be decently fast, and also he won't get weighed down by his weapons. So yeah, he's definitely kind of a speed demon when you think about it like that. But anyway, let's look at some emblems you could use on him. Because he has so much strength, and yeah, you can make him a Berserker. One unit or one emblem comes to mind is Ike. I haven't really seen anyone use Ike with him, but I could see it working because yeah, I could turn that really high HP into some great bulk with his Lagoose friend engage skill. And then yeah, of course, Boucheron uses axes, which are good with great ether. So yeah, I can definitely see the synergy there. Because of his stat spread, you can also try giving him like emblem that gives a good amount of strength too, like a Rory, for example. Because then, yeah, that will take advantage of the fact that, yeah, his speed is already in a pretty decent place. It should be in a decent place. While his base isn't that great, yeah, he should be able to grow it decently well. And then, yeah, you can use Roy to give him an extra bump in strength if he needs it, and then, yeah, he'll be able to do some good stuff there. Of course, yeah, some things can change depending on how he grows too. Like if he needs more speed, for example, you can obviously try giving him emblem that gives more speed. And of course, again, Lin's very good for a unit like this, or a unit that needs more speed, obviously. So yeah, I wouldn't like give him Lin first off. Again, I like Lin on mounted units, especially Wyverns. That's probably what I'd do first. But yeah, and speaking of which, yeah, I guess another thing too about Boucheron too is you can make him a very you can just use him as a backup unit if you really want. Warrior causes longbows, and you can make him a hero too if you want to use the the chain attacks, obviously. The brave assist is what I was trying to say. So yeah, I guess again, that's a very decent use for a unit. But yeah, while we're on the topic of like backup units and stuff, yeah, it makes sense to mention it now. So yeah, of course, Boucheron does have 8 axe proficiency, so yeah, you can go like Wyvern if you really want. So Wyvern doesn't sound too bad on him either. He does have some pretty good growth rates, and yeah, Wyvern does boost strength a decent amount too, so yeah, you should be able to do solid there. And yeah, he might also get some pretty good bulk too, because his bulk is actually not terrible as a fighter, so yeah. And he obviously has good HP to supplement too, so yeah. I can definitely see him being a good Wyvern, to be honest. Especially if you put in the love and effort and get him off the ground, so yeah. That's Boucheron as a unit. Like I said, he is not that memorable as a unit, to be honest. He's just there and he does a decent job. He's not hilariously awful or anything like that. He's not like amazingly good, but yeah, he's definitely like at least solid. So yeah, I can appreciate that at least. So yeah. How about Boucheron? So yeah, again, still at the end. You can definitely use him if you really want as well. Let's move on to his character now. He's one of the more down-to-earth characters in this game, which I think is why I like him a lot, to be honest. Um, he's not like weird or anything like that. He's just, you know, some dude that happens to have a lot of muscles. No, nothing more than that. And yeah, it does lead to some weird moments, like, yeah, Alfred and Etie really want to touch him up, and then he's just standing there with that weird look on his face. I'm like, okay, what are you doing? Something like that. It's kind of hilarious, to be honest, but yeah, it does show that, yeah, he's just a normal dude surrounded by not so normal dudes, which is kind of likable, to be honest. He also has that Goldmary support where he's completely oblivious to the fact that Goldmary's trying to hit on him. So yeah, that's also kind of hilarious, but yeah, it's more hilarious for Goldmary itself, but yeah. And yeah, of course, there's this other thing too, where he likes to cry when he reads books, which, to be honest though, I can relate. When I read Nozoka for the first time, I cried too, so yeah. And yeah, that does lead to some interesting moments, like, yeah, Fram isn't very interested in reading, that's something I should have mentioned in the last part. And yeah, she also likes to do impressions of Vanda with that too. You must do your study duty. It's actually a really good impression, to be honest, but anyway. And yeah, they read books together, and then yeah, he starts crying again. I think... I'm not so sure who else this happens to. I know that, yeah, he does read books to some people too, and he starts crying and stuff, and then, yeah. I think it happens over there as well, but yeah. Yeah, just, you know, that's just something about him. He likes crying when he reads his books, so yeah. And again, it ties into that personal skill as well, the name of it. And then, another supply I do remember from is the Lapis one, where, yeah, he doesn't realize that Lapis is getting extremely embarrassed by her, she's trying to hide the fact that she's from the country. But yeah, she sorts out like food and milk and stuff in her own way. That's more efficient, but yeah. Boucheron doesn't realize it, and then yeah, when he tries to ask why Lapis does that, and then she gets embarrassed of it, it's not bad, to be honest. It's an alright support, but yeah, it's one of the ones I don't really remember that well from Lapis, so yeah. But again, yeah, it's interesting that two characters get to learn each other in an interesting way at that, to be honest, so yeah. Again, yeah, Boucheron's just, you know... Again, that down-to-earth nature of him is why I feel like he's kind of likable, to be honest, as a character. Yeah, he doesn't stand out super much with how crazy some of these characters get, but I think that's fine, to be honest. Again, the dude's just, you know, just a regular dude who just happens to have a lot of muscles, so yeah. I can definitely like him because of that, so yeah. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say about him. See, like I said, that's a unit, not the most memorable unit that comes to mind, but yeah. Because again, yeah, he doesn't stand out like super good or super bad as a unit, but yeah, he'll get the job done, especially if you decide to invest into him, so yeah. Because yeah, he does have the potential. I've seen him being at least decent as a warrior, so yeah. I think my brother used him as a warrior, so yeah, and he did alright. Maybe I'll use him one day too. I don't think I have yet, so yeah. Again, that's maybe something we can think about later down the line, so yeah. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about these three. Like I said, these units, I feel like they took a little bit of time for me to appreciate, especially like Alfred, but yeah, to be honest, yeah, I did always like Etie once I played the game. I think before the game, I thought she was like, not the most interesting, but yeah, I did change my tune once I got to learn about, and then yeah. Boucheron, yeah, he's just solid. He's just, you know, there doing whatever he can, so yeah, I can appreciate that as well, so yeah. Again, I like this cost, and yeah, I can definitely appreciate it. I can definitely appreciate when, like, this cost, you know, grows on me and stuff. That's definitely something I can appreciate, and yeah, these units definitely have, so yeah. That'll be it for this episode, so yeah, next time we're going to be doing, we're going to be looking at Selene and her retainers. And yeah, we're going to be doing the other half of the Firene units. So yeah, look forward to that, and I'll see you guys again for that.